On today's episode of the Cryptoverse, some more details have been announced about the basic Attune token and the upcoming crowdfund. So let's take a look. Hardware wallets are the only way to truly store your cryptocurrency securely. Ledger provide a range of devices to suit all budgets and preferences. Check out my review of the Ledger Nano S by clicking on the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney. Now today is the 10th of May 2017. I'm going to make the same two announcements that I've been making for the last several days, then we'll get into the market roundup and then the news. Just 3 days to go until the next Cryptoverse live stream. This is call-in show number 4. This is a question and answer or ask me anything with the Peer Plays team. We're going to have Jonathan Bahai, the president of the Peer Plays and Bunker Chain Labs, Mike Maloney and Robin Wilk, here to answer all your questions about the Peer Plays crowdfund the day before it closes. So this is the last chance to get anything clarified about the Peer Plays crowdfund before the crowdfund closes the very next day. Then that will allow space for the final preparations before Peer Plays actually launches. So you can either call in on Skype, post a message on Reddit, or post a message in the YouTube chat when it goes live, and then we'll do our level best to answer all the questions that you have. It's Saturday the 13th of May, 4 p.m. GMT, so go to YouTube, set yourself a reminder, or sign up to the email list and I'll send you an email to make sure you don't miss it. And for anyone who hasn't heard this announcement already, I'm going to be away from the 21st of May to the 1st of June, so there will either be a disruption to the normal Cryptoverse publishing schedule, or I might go dark completely. I'm just going to play it by ear and see how we go. It very much depends on what happens in the ecosystem in the meantime. So if I can produce some content, I will, but I don't want to just do it for the hell of it and then do it, poorly. So I'll do my best and then we'll see what happens. So now it's time for the market roundup, courtesy of coinmarketcap.com. Now what happened yesterday was significant across almost every altcoin. They tanked. Most altcoins tanked a bit, dropped in value quite significantly. So while Bitcoin actually spiked significantly yesterday, which suggested that everyone ran from the altcoins back to Bitcoin, after the massive gains that people had in the altcoin market recently. Now the good thing is that the overall market cap of the crypto economy didn't move that much, which means that a lot of people chose to stay in the crypto economy rather than retreating back to fiat currency. Now, I personally want to see Bitcoin become the reserve currency. And then what happened yesterday, where all the altcoins crashed and Bitcoin went up, that is exactly the behavior that I would expect to see if Bitcoin were treated as the reserve currency. And of course, no one declares Bitcoin the reserve currency like in the fiat economy. It doesn't work like that. The people decide purely by voluntary association and the free movement of their own money. So there's no one that can make Bitcoin the reserve currency other than the people choosing it. So that's what I like to see. Now today, we've somewhat swung back the other way a bit. Now Bitcoin has pulled back a little bit, even though it's trading right now on Bitstamp at 1730. We have returned to some big gains across the major altcoins. So if I just scroll down to the top 10 here, I'm talking about Lightcoin's kind of showing off today with a 33.5% gain. Now, full confession here, I think I was wrong about Lightcoin. I've been going around saying that the effects of the segregated witness technology being activated on Lightcoin, which happens later today, had already been priced in. This does not appear to be the case. If these big jumps in Lightcoin are in fact because of SegWit, and actually there's no way to know for sure if that's the case. If that is the case though, it makes little sense because SegWit did not happen suddenly. Right, it's happened over the course of several weeks. So first we could see the state of SegWit support, and then we saw it finally got locked in. then we all knew it would take about 2 weeks before it was activated. So why would the price suddenly jump today, which is the day when SegWit is actually going to activate? Once SegWit was locked in 2 weeks ago, it was guaranteed to activate today. There was no going back. So what doesn't make sense to me is whether you bought Litecoin the day it locked in, or any day in between then and today, it makes no difference. Such is the frustration of assuming markets are rational. I guess that's the first mistake of investing. So anyway, Litecoin is the biggest winner by percentage today. Bitcoin is the biggest and only loser in the top 10. And the only other coin I want to mention today, I have to scroll down to 28th place to find it. It's Tether. If you remember, Tether Corporation had trouble with their US dollar bank accounts recently, which caused the Tether cryptocurrency, which is supposed to remain stable at a value of $1, it went right down to a value of 92 cents or something similar. Well, without looking at the news, this looks like they have now somewhat resolved their banking issues because the price of Tether has returned to 98 cents. So some traders made some easy profits on that situation, no doubt. And speaking of segregated witness activating on the Litecoin network, at time of recording, it's just 5 hours and 35 minutes away, roughly. So if you want to see what the situation is for yourself, you can go to litecoinblockhalf.com/segwit.php and you'll be able to see this countdown timer for yourself. So in terms of the news then, I've turned to the blog of the Basic Attention Token website. So if you haven't already guessed, I am a huge fan of this project. And just to get everyone on the same page, first came the Brave web browser, which has a built-in security tool that blocks ads, trackers, and even cookies if you want it to. It also has a built-in Bitcoin wallet that automatically tips websites that you visit. That is, if you want it to, you just deposit some Bitcoin and it automatically tips the sites that you visit. The Brave browser is especially beneficial if you use the web on a mobile phone, because by blocking all the ads and all the trackers, you will massively reduce the drain on your data plan and massively reduce the drain on your battery. So right after you've listened to this podcast, download the Brave browser app on your phone and prepare to be amazed. So the Brave browser was phase 1, right? Blocking the ads and establishing a user base for the Brave browser. Now we're moving into phase 2, building a new online advertising ecosystem that has user privacy and user value at the very center of it. And in this new world, if you tell Brave that you are prepared to see ads, you'll start earning the new Basic Attention Token cryptocurrency in exchange for it. Pretty cool. Also check out my recent interview with Brendan Eich, who is the CEO of Brave Software, for more info. Brendan was the creator of the JavaScript programming language, the most popular programming language on the internet, and he was also the Chief Technology Officer and the Chief Executive Officer of the Mozilla Corporation, which launched the Firefox browser. So this guy knows what he's talking about when it comes to these topics of browsing, internet advertising, pop-up blocking, and all that sort of stuff. That was an innovation that came out of the Firefox browser. Now, I would normally just pick out the highlights of an article, but I'm going to read a lot of this in order to do it justice. For you YouTube crowd, you have to remember that this show is syndicated across numerous audio platforms and podcasting platforms. So iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and so on. So that those folks only have access to the audio. They don't have the benefit of reading the parts of the article that I don't read. So they only get the parts that I do read. So that's why in this case, because I really want the essence of this to come across, I'm going to read quite a bit of it. So starting off, as I always do, with the red bit. The article says, an integral part of the BAT crowd sale, so BAT is Basic Attention Token, is the creation of a user pool, which will consist of 10% of the token total in the event of a sellout. There are currently 100 million tokens in the user pool. These tokens will be used to incentivize users to join the BAT ecosystem. We anticipate that when users download the Brave browser, they will be rewarded with up to 5 tokens. The final number will be influenced by pricing. Potentially, this could prompt as many as 50 million users to join the BAT ecosystem. So here are my comments on that. So if there are 100 million tokens in the user pool, and that represents 10% of the total, it means that there will be a total supply of 1 billion basic attention tokens created. Now it does say that the final total will depend on the token's price, but it doesn't specify if that means that the total supply of tokens will be increased, or if just the portion of the total that is allocated to the user pool will be increased. So I've sent an email to Brendan about this morning to clarify it, so I'll see what he comes back with. But basically paying users to download the Brave browser sounds pretty good to me. Moving on to the orange bit. It says these tokens, given as an incentive to download the Brave browser, will be usable only within the BAT ecosystem. Any BATs not used by users for a specified amount of time will be returned to the pool. Once the user growth pool is exhausted, we do not plan on adding any more tokens. Right, so here are my comments on that. Brendan has repeatedly said that he does not want the basic attention token to become a store of value or a speculative coin. And this feature is the first sign of going some way to prevent this. You know, where the token expires if you don't use it. It very much is a use it or lose it scenario. Now it does say they haven't actually decided what amount of time, you know, will be allowed before it expires. They'll decide that later on. So then moving on to the yellow bit. The article says, once in the system, users will be able to gain and spend BATs in a number of different scenarios. Users will be able to use BATs in exchange for premium content from publishers. Users will also be able to donate BATs to publishers whose ads they are blocking. Publishers could also incentivize users to download their app with BAT. So I love this idea, right? It's the basic attention token, remember. It's a special coin designed specifically to reward people for giving their attention to something. One of the greatest challenges for a new app developer in particular is getting people to try it for the first time. So we as users, we don't want to try brand new apps until they're proven, because if they're bad, then we've wasted our precious time that we just cannot get back. At least with the basic attention token, we're being compensated. So it's a win-win situation. We either find a bad app and we earn some money, or we earn some money and we find a good app. So we really can't lose in this situation. I believe that's a big enough incentive to completely transform the entire ad ecosystem. So now moving on to the green bit. The article goes on to say, we will build the BAT platform on top of the Brave browser. But this is just one interface for the BAT. As we develop the BAT protocol, we envision developers coming up with new and novel interfaces for BAT. Right, now this is important if users are going to buy into this idea. If the BAT were just a private currency for Brave apps, I don't think it will be as appealing or reach as many people. I suppose that's the benefit of creating something called the basic attention token rather than creating something like a Brave coin, which would be, you know, a private currency just for Brave software. Now here's where it gets interesting. The article says that some of these other uses could include other browser extensions. One obvious use case for the BAT is for them to be used inside other browsers through extensions. This means that the BAT ecosystem will expand out to any one of the other popular web browsers. Now the way I see that is, let's say all of the software companies that are providing ad blockers, they could integrate with BAT and allow users the same option to flip a switch, just like with the Brave browser. Option 1 is you put your shields up and you block all ads and just browse freely. Option 2 is you flip the switch, put your shields down, allow some ads through, but only allow ads that pay you BAT tokens in exchange. Now option 2 in this world is very different to the current ad model, because the ads you would see would be prevented from like invading your privacy, they'd be prevented from mining your personal data, and they'd be prevented from installing like malware on your device, which is something that happens with online ads today. And this is because the ads will come through this new encrypted ad platform that Brave are developing for this very purpose. So some other uses in the purple is there's things like a Telegram bot. In messaging apps like Telegram, we foresee the possibility of users being paid in BAT to view one ad. Another one is WeChat official account. It says WeChat has become a robust system of bots, payments, and other solutions. We foresee the creation of different WeChat solutions integrating with BAT. Another one is token and status. The BAT also has attention-based applicability inside the Ethereum-based messaging/payment platform, such as Coinbase's new token app and status app. Now, my personal comments on that are that I don't think ads used to be as big as a problem as they are today. I think the main reason people have got sick of ads is because of the quantity of them. And what if the price of using a free messenger app like Telegram were that you saw just one ad per day and that's it? I personally think that most users would be okay with that, especially if the ad were more relevant. And when advertisers know they only have one ad spot, well, then there's a big incentive to be very targeted, because that shotgun approach that they're using right now will just become too expensive. So anyway, the blog post ends by saying, depending on the success of the crowd sale, we intend to found a not-for-profit trade association of attention-based apps and extensions precisely to develop common standards and auditing requirements for endpoint software that integrates with the BAT ecosystem. And that is how users will rest assured that if they do decide to turn on the ads, these ads will comply with strict guidelines of user privacy and security. So in conclusion then, you can download the Brave browser right now for desktop and mobile devices. You'll immediately experience the benefits of faster web browsing, longer battery life, and lower demand on your data plan, since Brave cuts out a ton of ads and tracking scripts that were previously putting a huge demand, but that didn't add any enhancement to your web browsing experience. Now, once the basic attention token launches, you'll be able to switch to seeing a limited number of ads in exchange for some cryptocurrency that you can then use to donate to your favorite publisher, use to pay for premium content such as a course on cryptoversity.com, or you can just sell your tokens on an exchange where many advertisers will be ready and willing to buy them from you, so they can just go ahead and buy more ads. So far, I personally am in full support of this project, and I'm willing to dedicate whatever coverage is necessary when new developments and new updates are announced. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From just a few dollars a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. That is all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.